Everything will be, whoa, welcome G5 Leadership. How we doing? That was a test. I wasn't singing, I was just speaking the words. Everything will be all right, you know? And that's some good lyrics right there. Welcome to Leadership. Can you believe? Oh my word. What is it, March? You love March? It's the end of the first quarter of the year. Can you believe that? That's what a business owner thinks about, I think. It's like Q1, right? So off to the races. We are blessed. We're honored. If you're in the room tonight, congratulations. This is a big step because we believe that in order to win in life, you got to slow down and sharpen the axe, right? And sometimes in life, I don't want to slow down. I know PT doesn't want to slow down. We just want to charge through. But tonight, we're going to have so much fun. If you've got a cell phone, I hope you take notes with it. But if you'll do us a favor, because this goes out online, it's on YouTube and our Facebook and all that stuff. But if you just want to silence your phone, and nobody's going to call you or anything like that, I know. But just hit the silence button so that we can make sure we don't have any interruptions. And just welcome to G5. If it's your first time at G5, welcome home. If it's your first time in a few years, I know we've got some family from out of town that's in, and it's been a few years, and it's so great to see you. But welcome home. This is a place that we just say, welcome home. You can belong before you know how to behave, and that's because of guys like me. You know, I didn't know how to behave, and I'm still figuring it out. But thankfully, we got PT here. So this is Leadership, and this is an opportunity to just take a lot of notes. I don't know if you know this or not. If you're a G5er and you come to church here, and you're listening online, you may go, oh yeah, this is this church, and the pastor's he's really great, and he's energetic, and he dresses really cool, and he's all of those things, but he's actually traveled the whole world and worked with these incredible leaders all over the globe. And he's had the opportunity to take his children and take his family to the wall with him. And he's been able to teach and train the highest of highest leaders. And we get the privilege to sit here and just learn from absolutely one of the best leadership coaches in all of the world. I truly believe that. That's one of the reasons that I actually moved here, is because I wanted to get as close as I could to this. And we get a chance tonight actually to kick off with the fruit of that labor, and that's his incredible children. And tonight, we get a chance to listen to Blake first. He's going to present an incredible message to us, a leadership message, and I'm just amazed at what comes out of him. Don't let the age ever fool you. He says things, and I go, oh my goodness, where did he get that from? Where does he remember that? So I promise you're going to get nuggets. Write down the nuggets. In order to have a noteworthy life, we have to take notes. And so he's a dreamer. He's encouraging me all the time. He encourages people around here. You want to get around. You want to get your axe sharpened so you can do what God's called you to do. And without further ado, I'm going to welcome my brother, Mr. Blake Goad.
Check. How are y'all doing tonight? I can't believe it is Leadership already. It is amazing. But I'm excited to be back at Leadership. And this thing is getting streamed out all over the world, which is awesome. It's awesome. But I'm going to get started here. Of course, I have to start off with something funny because I love fun. How many like to have fun? And how much do you like to laugh? Do you like to laugh? I love to laugh. So I found this, and I thought it was hilarious, so I had to read it. Y'all ready for this? Okay. It says, a wife being the romantic sort, send her husband a text. If you're sleeping, send me your dreams. If you're laughing, send me your smile. If you're eating, send me a bite. And if you're drinking, send me a sip. But if you're crying, send me your tears. I love you! Exclamation point. The husband, the typical non-romantic type, right, guys, says, I'm currently on the toilet. Please advise. For y'all that are married, is that not a typical relationship or what right there, huh? You gotta love it, right? But guys, we're gonna get started here tonight because I get to bring up after me my amazing mom is gonna share for a few minutes. And then my dad is gonna come up and kill it, as always. But guys, I'm gonna jump right in. Today, I wanna talk about how to lead with difficult people in your life. Ouch. This is about you, Sam. No, I'm kidding. But how many of you have those people in your life? And I'm not talking about like ethically or morally just bad people. I'm talking about those people when you like, my mom jokes, when you see them in the grocery store, you try to hide from them. And just like those people that are, my mom calls them heavenly sandpaper. Do you have those people in your life? How many of you thought of that person that came up in your mind as soon as I said that? You have that person. Like Greg thought of me as soon as I said that. It is awesome. But how many of you have those people in your life? And it's so true. But how many of you know they're not bad people? They're just unique in the way they do things. And sometimes it makes it difficult. But how many know whenever you set up a meeting in your business and you have those people in your life, they're amazing leaders. And sometimes the most awkward people are the greatest leaders. They get things done and they overachieve, and it's awesome. But how many know when you see that, you have your calendar and you're like, oh, great, I got to meet with them today. You think about it, right? And you see that you're like, just the conversation's going to be awkward. You just know what's coming, right? And how many of you know sometimes those conversations are sometimes the most difficult things to have? So I just want to talk about how to just have those conversations and lead with difficult people. Are you ready for this? Let's do this. So number one is that how many of you know that sometimes unique people react out of their feelings, right? How many of you have ever reacted out of your feelings before? I feel like the whole room should just raise their hand there because I think we've all just done that, right? And I love this. The point number one is leaders don't win by matching the behavior. They lead by managing their response. Now that's huge. Now how many of you know, as a young age, my dad and mom always taught my sister and I, never handle a scenario at the point it was created. Always lead above it. Now, how many of you know when you have difficult conversations with people and you're dealing with leaders that sometimes are very unique in the workplace, sometimes conversations can get a little fun, right? But how many of you know if you can lead beyond it and lead above it, the scenario will ultimately handle itself eventually. But how do you know your response to the scenario is everything, right? I remember my mom, if y'all were here Sunday, I hope you were, but if you weren't, I encourage you to go back and watch my mom's amazing sermon. But she talked about a guy who got 1,000? How many times did he get denied? 1,009 times he got told no. And on the 1,009th time, he got a yes, and it became Kentucky Fried Chicken. So tell me he didn't, over those years, get unique conversations and unique leaders to deal with. It's never too late, and it's never too early to start. I love this. Dyslexic's amazing. I love this so much. But I love this. I want to give you 3 C's that I believe leading with these leaders. Are you ready? I try not to convince, convict, or control when I'm having these conversations. This is so huge. How many of you know at G5, it is our responsibility to have an environment where they can grow into the person they are called to be. And it's never my responsibility to tell them how they have to do it. I remember I heard my dad talking on a conversation one time, and he was talking to a leader, and the guy goes, "Sir, why won't you tell me what you think I should do?" And my dad said, "Sir, it's never been my place to tell you what I think you should do. It's always been my place to be here to listen and guide you in the way I believe you're called to go. It's never my place to tell you, but it's my place to be here for you to listen and guide." Right? Now, how many know sometimes dealing with difficult people, they just want you to tell me how to do it. Tell me how to do it. And it's never been my place, right? And sometimes those difficult conversations come out of just leading above it. That's huge. And I love this. I'm here to help them to seed. And I want you to ask yourself this. When dealing with difficult people, what has love called you to do in that scenario? It reminds me of that song back from the 80s. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. No? Nobody gonna go? No? Okay, cool. I guess I'm alone on the stage. All by my... Okay. Whoa, with the reverb. I like it. There we go. It's a fellow musician right there. But how many of you know love conquers all when leading, when leading and encouraging people. Number 2 is learn to release them. Learn to release them. Now, I didn't say fire them or get rid of your friends. I just said learn to release them. Now, at a very young age, my mom and dad, I am grateful for this, taught my sister and I, you need to let things go. Now, I'm the type of person that I take everything, a lot of times, very personal. And I process on it, and I sit there and I think about it. And what I found is me wallowing in my thoughts doesn't help me overcome it, and it doesn't help them either. I love this. Don't take stuff personal, but holding on to stuff hurts you more than it heals them. By holding on to stuff, you are letting them win over your life. Now, I want to encourage you to let things go. And you're saying, like, what kind of things do you want me to let go? Like, how many know you've had just friends that you know that they're probably, like, talking behind your back about stuff, or they're saying things, and just have you ever had that happen to you? Am I the only one that's had that happen to me? But how many know you hear that stuff and you take it personal? You're like, what could I have done differently? And what I have found out is that you're not your responsibility to take on what they say about you. It's your responsibility to live your life so when people go talk about you, they can go, no, that's not the person I know. Here at G5, we pride ourselves on being people that, like, if somebody went to Sammer and said, hey, I heard Blake said this to somebody. I know for a fact Sammer can go, I know for a fact Blake would never say that. It's honoring the relationship, right? It's huge. I love this. Forgiveness doesn't change what happens in the past, but it can change what happens in the future. And I want to encourage you, forgiveness is not for you, it's for them. And it's also not for them, it's for you as well. It goes both ways. Forgiveness releases something. And how many know have you ever like forgiven somebody and you're just like, oh, that felt so much better, right? It takes a weight off of you. I love this. Sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart, says Winnie the Pooh. But how many of you know some of the smallest things in your life you process for the longest time on it? Is that not true? It's so huge. Point number 3, and I love this. I love this. Be honest, be direct, and be kind. When you're dealing with unique people, be honest, be direct, and be kind. I love this. This is a cool definition of kindness. I love that. I put kindness last because I believe kindness and love conquers all. Is that not true? Kindness is huge. I love this. The definition of kindness is lending someone your strength instead of reminding them of their weakness. Lending somebody their strength instead of reminding them of their weakness. Is that not true? I love this. How many of you ever heard of this book? It's kind of a big deal, I've heard. It's called the Bible. It might be the number 1 selling book in the world. Maybe, I don't know. But I love this. In Proverbs it says, God cares about honesty in the workplace. And I love this. God's leaders cultivate honest speech, and they love advisors who tell them the truth. I think that's pretty good leadership, don't you think? Now, I encourage you. I encourage you, when somebody gives you a critique, don't take it personal. I'm so grateful for the people in my life that come up to me and go, hey, bro, we need to talk. I got something we need to talk about. I remember as a young kid, my mom said, she talked about something, you got 1 minute to get out of it, right? I remember when I used to get spanked as a kid and my dad would correct me about something, I used to drive me nuts because I'm like, shoot, he's right. But as I get older, I realize he had my best interest at heart. And as leaders, how many know sometimes you are the people that are the unique people that in other people's lives that they have to deal with? Have you ever thought about that? I love that. Have y'all ever heard of Mother Teresa? If you haven't, I would encourage you to look her up. Kind of a big deal. But I love what she says is everybody comes into your life as a blessing and everybody comes into your life as a lesson. It's all in the perspective that you see it. How many of you know the way you look at life changes your outlook on everybody else? It's huge, isn't it? But I am grateful that at a young age, my family gave me the ability to grow and make my own mistakes. But when they saw me falling, they came alongside of me and said, let me help you. Let me guide you. And I wasn't going to be long tonight because I want to bring up somebody that has helped me grow personally. Sorry, because a lot of you don't know what she overcomes on a daily basis. And I'm so grateful for her because you would never know it. Her love for you and her love for all of us is amazing, and more than all, her passion to be here for you because she's had to put up with my weirdness my entire life. The amount of times that I've come home with some cool new collectible that I've bought, and I'm like, Mom, look at this cool new thing I got. And she goes, what is this? And she's looking at Brie going, please explain this to me. What is this? But I am grateful because she never told me it was dumb or stupid. She backed me when I was being the weirdest I could be. And hey, I'm still weird as I can all get out. You should have heard the jokes we were making earlier. It was great. But I am grateful for her because she's led by example with my family and me, and she loves you more than you know. She's still trying to figure out how to love me, but she loves you more. I'm kidding. I gave her a hard time. But I hope I was helpful today because I just wanted to go short and get her up here. But will you please tell me welcome my amazing mom, Mama G.
Wow, yeah, give it up for Blake. That was incredible, Blake. Wow. So I got my notes on my phone today, so therefore I got to have some cheaters. Yes, that day. I felt good the other day. I couldn't read something, and I handed it to Brie, and she goes, well, my Lord, that's so small. I don't know if I can read it. I'm like, oh, my gosh, I feel good. Thank you, Lord, because, I mean, she's got youngin' eyes. Both our kids do. Ever try to read a prescription? Anybody close to my age? You can forget it. I know I'm taking it wrong because I can't read it. So I just want to talk to you for a few minutes before the real man comes up. And I want to talk to you about a few things that require zero talent. There's things that require zero talent. Number one, you're going to love me, being on time. Leaders are on time. In fact, my dad taught me on time meant you were early. I'm so grateful that he pounded that into me. When I used to work for muscular dystrophy, and we would need to go to different offices and ask them to join one of our programs to help us raise money for them. And I literally spent every day of my life in a parking lot just sitting in my car because I always got there way before the time for my meeting. Because it really is incredible leadership to be on time. It says something about you. And it doesn't take any talent. It just takes you looking at the clock and going, let me estimate how long it's going to. Now, I know that's a little difficult with I-4. But we look at our phone ahead of time and go, how long does it say it's going to take us? I mean, we only live a couple exits up, and it took Brie an hour and 20 minutes to get here tonight. So it's like crazy. But being on time doesn't take any talent. It's just a decision, and it's being aware. And truthfully, it's a respectful thing. When you're a leader, you respect someone else's time, and I'm grateful because we taught our kids that. Brie and I, if we're going to like an appointment for our hair or something, and I promise you, first of all, her and I are like a nervous wreck in the car, like, oh my gosh, we can't be late. We'll call the place. We called not long ago. It was literally going to put us there 5 minutes after. And we said, hey, we want to let you know we're going to be late. And they were like, okay, like how late? And we were like 5 minutes. Okay, I think you're okay. I mean, they didn't even know how to react. I'm like, no, you don't understand. It's important to be on time. I love this quote. It says, I always arrive late to work, but I make up for it by leaving early. Is that not the truth? So anyway, the second one is work ethic. Work ethic takes zero talent. It takes decision. Are you willing to work? It says this, every job is a self-portrait of the person who does it. Autograph your work with your excellence. Is that powerful? I'm going to read it again. Every job is a self-portrait of the person who does it. Autograph your work with excellence. Is that powerful? You cannot put a price on work ethic, and it isn't about talent at all. You can find someone who, first of all, never even got an education, never got all the things that people think you have to have, but their work ethic kicks hiney. They see things and they get it done. They're not waiting around for somebody to tell them to get it done. They get it done, and it doesn't take any talent. It's a complete decision of what you're going to do. How many of you love to be around people that have a great work ethic, right? And you just know, that if you ask, it's going to be done. There's not going to be an excuse. It's just going to be done. So that is something that as leaders we should do. The next one, which we already know, but it's attitude. Attitude does not take talent whatsoever. I think it takes talent to have a bad attitude because you got to work at it, in my opinion. Attitude is only everything. And we talk about it all the time. And I know a lot of times we're like, here we go again about the attitude. But it's because it's so pivotal in the attitude of what you have it. I'm going to be very honest with you. When we woke up at 6:30 Sunday morning and PT decided to take on what I took on, and I hear him puking in the bathroom, and he looks at me and goes, babe, you got a message in you? I had to watch my attitude. I'm thinking, no, I don't. I don't feel like preaching because I just came through this whole stomach thing. But then what I say to myself, you don't have a right to worry about not have a good attitude. This is what I tell everybody, get your big girl panties on and go. Get up and go, right? Have an attitude. And most people had any idea. I'm over there. They think I had water in my cup. It was Sprite. And I was like sipping on my Sprite going, we can do this, we can do this. What is your attitude about what you're doing? Trust me, it will affect everyone around you. And people aren't going to want to be around you if your attitude stinks. I can just tell you that. The next one is passion. Passion does not take talent. Passion, once again, is you, developing you, and it's a discipline, and it's a decision. I mean, truthfully, if you think about it, PT is like the passion. I say this all the time. He's a poster child for everything, but he's a poster child for passion. He is passionate about everything he does. And he's not like he gets up in the morning and has to get himself all worked up. Okay, you can do this. We're going to go. You got to be passionate about today. It is who he has decided to be. And he's passionate wherever he goes, and he's passionate. People say to him all the time, are you tired of what you do? And he said, I'll never be tired of what I do. I may be tired while doing it, but I'll never be tired of what I do because I choose to have passion about what I'm called to. And when you have passion, nothing is going to stop you. Your feelings, you're tired, everything, nothing. You were passionate to get here tonight. I know you were, right? So you've got to have that passion that you hold on to. The next one is be coachable and teachable. Oof, that's a toughie. How many times do we think we already know it all? Why is somebody trying to tell me? But that's called being coachable and teachable. Listen to this quote. Stay open-minded and be teachable. Stay open-minded and be teachable. And sorry, I wrote it wrong. Be open-minded and teachable because you're not always right. Be open-minded and you're not always right. I know we think we are, but you're not always right. So you got to be willing, now have the right person that wants to teach you. Be careful who speaks into your life. But be open and be coachable. This quote is great. It's what you learn after you know it all that counts. I admire so much Miss Diva. We call her Diva. Her name's Marsha. And she came up to me the other day and she goes, okay, Sunday, you hit me right up upside the head. Last night at Girl Talk, you hit me right upside the head. And she goes, I've been so guilty of thinking that at my age, I've done enough. Now it's my time to just rest. And she goes, you're showing me and teaching me that I now have so much more to learn and so much more to do. That's the power of being teachable. Me at my age to her, and we're talking, and she has so much to teach me. But just be teachable and open. And understand that when you get defensive when someone's trying to tell you something, you're shutting down a blessing because they probably have something that they're trying to help you with. Hopefully it's in the right spirit. You know, PT and I do this all the time, and he does it a lot with me. He goes, babe, I just want to tell you, you really need to be careful. You need to watch this. You need to try this, you know. Or he'll say to me, have you texted so-and-so? Have you checked on her? Well, it's not somebody I want to text, and it's not somebody I want to check on. And I go, no. And he's like, well, I would really suggest that you do. Now, I needed to be at that point teachable and coachable to go, okay, you're right. I need to do this. And so I follow through. So the biggest thing when you're being teachable is you got to take your defense down. You can't be defensive. And if you're a know-it-all, you're in trouble. And I know you all have someone. You've met someone that is a know-it-all. They know it all. They're going to one-up you. Ever been in a dinner conversation, you start to tell a story and, I got one better than that. You know, and then they start in and you go, well, excuse me, what was I thinking? Yeah, you got to be. Anyway, the next one is doing extra takes zero talent. Doing extra. Go the extra mile. Go the extra mile. Zero talent. Yes, I know, you just worked and you just did all this, but if you see something that needs to be done, do the extra, whatever that is. And this is the deal. I believe this. Doing extra requires awareness. You have to be aware that there's extra to be done. Or maybe no one's ever even pointed it out and doesn't even know it's there, but you do. Well, I'm just telling you, I'm so grateful for our servant leaders because that's what they do. Here at G5, they do the extra. And then they don't come and wave it with a big flag. That's another thing. Please, as a leader, once you've done it, do it. Who sees it the most is the audience of one who you've done it for. So don't get your big flag and say, look what I just did. Did you notice how good I did it? No, I promise you, hopefully, we try to be very aware here. We will come find you and we will thank you and appreciate what you've done. But as soon as you've got to take the credit, you've taken away the blessing of someone coming into you and saying, wow, thank you for doing that. The extra mile is huge, huge, huge. The next one is being prepared takes zero talent. Being prepared takes zero talent. There's a quote, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. Know there will always be the unexpected. Get prepared. We talked last night at Girl Talk. Now, I know we have a mixture here. We have men and women. So more than likely, men, you're not going to even relate to this. But we talked about how in our wilderness, we talked on the wilderness, and we talked about being prepared for the unexpected because you don't know when you're in a wilderness what you're going to do. And I said, let me give you an example how I think you just, the unexpected, but you're like, I don't know what it's going to be like. So us women, come here with me, women. You know what I'm talking about. You go to the ladies' public bathroom, and there's like 10 stalls, right? And you walk in. I don't know of any woman that just throws the door right open and walks in. This is what we do. And then we look and we go, oh, nope. And then we go to the next one. And you hold it back. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what's going to be there. And trust me, sometimes I think men must have broken the women's because I'm going, and I love you men, but I'm like, what woman does this? But it's that unexpected. You don't know what to expect. So you slow. Watch yourself next time you go to a public bathroom and you go, I didn't realize I do that, but I do. I slowly open that door and go. So you got to be, mentally, you got to be prepared because you might start throwing up. I got to be prepared. Anyway, I want to give you that mental thing of how you got to be prepared. Be prepared for the unknown. You don't know. But if you'll prepare yourself and get ready, you can do it. The next one is having integrity takes zero talent. It does. Zero talent. Can people count on you? This is another thing that I think is huge. Are you a person of your word, and are you someone that would be easily to defend? Ask yourself that. Could someone defend me? If someone came up and said something about you to someone, would that person be so convinced that you walk in integrity, they go, no, I'm sorry, that's not that. There's no way that person did that. There's no way they did that. And they'll defend you. But that's called having integrity. And PT says all the time, we have a shirt, a lot of you have bought them, it says, in the moment of choice, always choose integrity. Always choose integrity. Notice how it says choose? It didn't say you got a gift and a talent to choose integrity. You choose integrity. It doesn't take any talent whatsoever. My dad, I want to tell this story because it's not lifting me up and boosting me up. I'm just saying it's a story that let me know how important it is that you're a person of your word and people can trust you. And some of you have heard this story before, but we went, it was time for me to get my driver's license, and we had to drive. And it was an hour and 30 minutes from our house was the only place that they would take us. And so my dad went and took me, and he stayed there in the car. Well, they put you in the car. This was back in the day. They actually took you around this racetrack thing. And I mean, you had to go through cones and do all this stuff, but they put you with someone in your car. And they put me with this daggone dorky guy who just drove me nuts. And so when I did my driving, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. And then he gets in the driver's seat, and the guy's a crazy man. And he's running over all the cones, and he's acting up, and he rolled the window down. He's yelling out the window. And I'm like, you have got to stop. I need to get my license tonight. We've driven an hour and a half. I went through the whole thing. When we got done, the instructor pulled us over. And my dad walked up, and he goes, babe, how'd it go? And I'm just standing there so shook up. And the guy goes, well, I'm sorry, sir. You're going to have to bring your daughter back, because she was reckless in that car. This car was everywhere. And I said, what? I looked and I'm like, no, that was him. And my dad looked at me and he said, were you a part of any of that? I said, no, Dad, not at all. I was trying to get the guy to quit. And he looked at him, he said, let me tell you something. First of all, you're calling my daughter a liar, and I know she's telling the truth. I won't, and this is my dad, who is a quiet man. I was like standing there going, whoa, you go, Dad. He said, I won't be driving back, because you will be passing my daughter, because she is a person of her word. And the guy goes, yes, sir, if you believe that much in your daughter, here you are. She's got her license. But it's that thing of integrity. Are you a person of your word? And can someone defend you? You got to decide if someone can defend you. The next one is listening takes no talent. It's a decision. We just did a whole girl talk on listening. And it was so cool to listen to some of the testimonies of women who have practiced listening to people. One of the biggest things is to look people in the eye and not look around like a wondering person while somebody's trying to talk to you, because they don't feel heard. But listening is important. I love this quote. It says, I remind myself every morning, nothing I say this day will teach me anything. So if I'm going to learn, I must learn to listen. That's how, if you're talking about something you already know. If you're listening, you're retaining something new. And listening is very important. It takes no talent at all. But people want to be heard. We talked about you ask questions after someone tells you something, then go. Someone was talking to me the other day about their little girl that did something, and they were so proud of her. And instead of me going, that's just so great, I said, that is so awesome. Tell me what she did. What kind of award did she get? Did you video her? Do you have a picture of her? And the lady was like stunned, like, you really listened to me. You were really paying attention. It's important because it takes zero talent. I've only got like 3 more. The next one is encouraging others takes zero talent. Next girl talk, the whole talk is going to be on encouragement. Encouraging others takes zero talent. We could truly stop here and talk for an hour. I don't think we understand as people, as leaders, as followers of the Lord, as everything that we are, how important encouragement is. You have the most encouraging pastor on the planet who will encourage everyone anytime, believe the best in them. He's taught me so much about encouraging. But it's funny how people can't do it because they just were never, I wasn't raised that way. So I have had to learn to see someone and just say, oh my word, I do this all, in my practice field, everybody knows, is a grocery store. And I encourage people all the time. I go, you know what? You got some most beautiful smile. You have such an incredible work ethic. How quick you're bagging my groceries. I'm so proud of you for that. And people don't even know what to do. Like, what do you mean? You know, it's funny. Even like if you've ever had to get up and speak in front of somebody or do whatever we do, it's very hard when no one comes up to encourage you. But what's interesting, have you ever had this happen? I had a friend and she was terrible at encouraging. And somebody came up to me and goes, oh, so-and-so was telling me all about your talk. And she just loved it. And I went, well, why didn't she tell me? I thought she didn't like it. Because we don't think to encourage people, to encourage where they are, to encourage what they're doing. It's hugely important. But you got to get out of you and quit focusing on you in order to encourage someone. Whatever it is, I've watched our kids because we have literally pounded this in our kids. And like if Bree goes out to another church, and it was a while ago, we just went and watched this group that came out to sing and everything. And they weren't the greatest, but they were good. They were, whatever. And they got off the stage and she beelined over to the main girl that had done most of the singing. And she just walked up and she goes, I just want to tell you, I am so proud of you for what you did. And I'm so grateful that I got to be here tonight for this. And the girl just stood speechless. Like no one, she's like, what? And Bree hugged her and walked away. It took zero talent, but I guarantee you she changed that girl's life because she encouraged her when most people don't get encouraged. We get to be encouragers. The next one, obviously, is serving takes zero talent. It's called you just getting in there and doing it. Getting in there and doing it. I love this quote. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. If you want to ask a servant leader here at G5, they'll tell you that. They have found something about their self that they never knew because they serve. They put them aside. What can I get for you? Can I help you? Can I carry that for you? Anything we can do. That puts them aside and it does something for them. And they find out who they really are. Listen, in marriage, you'll find out who you are. If you're willing to serve when you may be not being served, you'll find out who you are. Because serving does something. It takes everything off of you that you think you're all this in a bag of chips. And it lets you know, no, you just need to become a servant. And you need to love people and serve people. Because that's what's important. And it doesn't take any talent. I've got two more and that's it. The next one is dreaming. Dreaming takes no talent. Once again, you've got a poster child for a dreamer. PT. Dreaming, he's taught me. He used to say to me all the time, we go down the highway and he'd say, babe, if you could have any car, what would it be? And I'd be like, I'd wait and a car go by, I don't know, I guess that one. I'd never even thought about it. Never thought about it. What it took to dream. And he started teaching me. We taught our kids young, they got dream boards. And they started writing on the things that they wanted to do. And for Blake wanted to go to a dude ranch, and he did that one time. And then Bree wanted to swim with the dolphins. That was on her list. And 2 years later, she got to do that. But it teaches you to get out of you and to dream and look for things. If you don't have anything in front of you you're working for, you got a problem. Because you're going to stay right where you are. And we talked about this the other night. Comfort zone is where you stay content and you don't grow. But dreaming will get you out. And PT says all the time, if you're scared, if you're not scared right now and going, I don't know if this is going to happen, your dream's not big enough. You've just got this little teeny dream that you're going to pull off yourself. You get to learn to be a dreamer. And the last one is this, be humble. Humility takes no talent. It's a decision. Be humble. It says this, talent is God-given. Be humble. Fame is man-given. Be graceful. Conceit is self-given. Be very careful. Be very careful when we think we're it. Be very careful when we don't have a humble spirit, because I promise you something's going to creep up sometime. Humility is such an incredible gift. And you know people, when you say them, you go, oh, they're such a humble person. They're not all into themselves and all about this. I look on Facebook sometimes, I tell PT, I'm like, oh my gosh, here we are again. Look at her. I'm sorry, I'm just going to say this. They put up a scripture for somebody, but they got to be in the picture for the scripture. The Lord showed me to tell you this. And then it has a scripture above her head. I'm like, really? And then the next one is praying for you in intercessory prayer. I'm not kidding. And I don't know, it doesn't feel very humble to me. Most of the time, if him and I do a picture, it's like of our feet running. Well, hopefully you're not threatened by our feet. You know what I mean? But do you know what I'm saying? And there's no humility there. It's like, I can't even read the scripture because I can't get past the pose with the scripture. It's just like, please, could you just not be so proud of yourself? So I want to read this story. This is a cool story. I just told PT, I said, you're going to love this story. I just found it. God's so good. It's called The Difference, okay? James and Thomas joined a company together a few months after their graduation from college. After a few years of work, James was promoted to a position of senior sales manager, but Thomas remained in his entry-level junior sales officer. Thomas developed a sense of jealousy and disgruntlement, but continued working anyway. One day, Thomas felt that he could not work with James anymore, and he wrote his resignation letter. But before he submitted it to his director, he verbally complained that the management and his leadership team did not value his hard-working staff, but only promoted a select group of individuals. The director knew that Thomas was a hard worker and had been diligent for years he had spent at the company, and felt that he worked even harder than James, and therefore he deserved the promotion. So in order to help Thomas realize this, the manager gave Thomas a task. Go and find out if anyone is in town selling watermelons. Thomas returned and said, yes, there is someone. The manager asked, how much per kilogram? Thomas drove back to town and asked, and then returned to inform the manager. They are $13.50 per kilogram. The manager told Thomas, I will give James the same task that I gave you. Please pay close attention to his response. So the manager said to James, in the presence of Thomas, go find out if anyone in town is selling watermelons. There is only one person selling watermelons in the whole town. The cost is $49 per watermelon and $32.50 for half a watermelon. He sells them at $13.50 per kilogram when sliced. He has them in stock, 93 melons, each one weighing 7 kilometers. He has a farm and can supply us with melons for the next 4 months at a rate of 102 melons per day at $27 per melon. This includes delivery. The melons appear fresh and red with good quality, and they taste better than the ones that they sold last year. He has his own slicing machine and is willing to slice for us free of charge. We need to strike a deal with him before noon to be sure of beating last year's profits. Melons only by $50,000. This deal will contribute positively to our overall performance, and it will add a minimum of 3.78% to our current overall sales target. I can quickly collate this information for you to review in 15 minutes. Thomas was very impressed and realized the difference between himself and James. He decided not to resign, but to go learn from James. Is that powerful? Extra mile. It took him no more talent to ask the man where the watermelons were, can I taste them, and get all the details that he needed. I'm telling you, remember what takes no talent, and you've got it in your hands. I love you guys. Here's Mr. PT.
You're so amazing. So proud of you. I'm going to need a pair of glasses. Amazing. Oh, my goodness. You just got to stop being so good. I had people meet me outside last night and went, man, we don't need you anymore. And so I was I need to practice. Well, our lights go way up when I do the pose. I just want to say, so I am messing. I want to say thank you to Alex, making sure that people online are able to watch. Seth, thank you so much. Laura, thank you for keeping up with us. You are truly amazing. So grateful. It's so good to see you tonight. Look at your neighbor and say, wow, you're way better looking than I thought you were going to be. Will you tell them that right now? I just want to say we have the hottest women in all the world at G5. So if you're single and you're out there, you might ought to get down here and make sure you shower, okay? It's just go a long way here at G5. I just need to let you know that. My dear friends are here from Ohio, Heath and Ann. I love you so much. It's so great to see you, friends, and they're amazing. I just got to say one more thing, and then I'm going to go really quick, okay? Bob and Nancy, you blow my mind. I mean, these guys, they've just won so much in their lives, and the fact that you're here tonight, still learning and growing and stretching, it's just such a great example to Gay and I, and so we're grateful for that. I love all of you. It's so good to see you. Blake, you killed it tonight. I'm going to have to listen to that and write it down and digest it, take it apart. It was so deep. And Josh, I understand what you're saying because the beauty in life is to help other people win. And I'm grateful for what I've been able to do around the globe. I'm grateful that 180 nations So many lives have been changed, 88,000 at-risk kids in the U.S. I'm grateful for the lives that have been changed, but my finest work has been with my family. And I'm grateful, and I would encourage you, I want to speak to you tonight on success, and I would encourage you in your life, when you start to write the definition of success for your life, that you would understand that the greatest joy of your life, you're not going to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. But the greatest joy in all the world is winning in your home and with the people you love the most. And I had heard somebody say, Zig or somebody, that real success is when those that know you the best love you and respect you the most. I think that's pretty convicting. It's very convicting, but I love it. Success. It's an interesting subject. Do you know what success is? Do you have a definition of success? Now, I will tell you, I'm going to be real short on some of these. There are 10 points. I'm not going to give you the 10 points tonight. We may split them up in two, but you cannot write a definition of success for your life if you do not know your purpose. Your purpose is in your giftedness, in your calling. My wife just spoke to you about things that take no talent. They are a choice, and I do believe they take discipline. It takes discipline. You're going to have a completely different year if your disciplines are different in your life. Disciplined. So you got to know your purpose. The second thing is you got to find your passion. If you want to know how to find your passion, ask yourself this question: what makes me laugh? And what makes me cry? When's the last time you laughed so hard that you lost your breath? And even while you were laughing, have you ever laughed and cried together at the same time? It was so hilarious. You couldn't hold it back. When you start doing that, you're finding the spot in your life where passion is coming alive. I think it's probably the most critical thing you'll ever do in your life. And when they study leaders, the number one thing they want to see in a leader is your passion. Do you believe? I think the second thing they want to see in that is, do you live what you say you believe? Very, very critical. The third thing is going to probably amaze you to find your definition of success is, truthfully, you've got to find out your burden. What breaks your heart? What makes you stay awake? What takes you off of the seat and into the service of life and other people's lives? So critical as you move forwards. Here's what we're finding out, that being successful and being unsuccessful is very little. It doesn't take a great big difference. It's just you deciding, I'm going to do a little bit more, the extra mile. By the way, that's biblical for those of you that care about that. If they ask you for your coat, you give them your cloak. If they ask you to go a mile, that's so different. And if I could say anything, if I could deposit anything into the young emerging generation, is really move away from this idea of, let me see how little I can do to see how much I can get. I want you to move to where you honestly are going, you know what? I'm going to give more than was asked. And I'm going to raise the bar of excellence. And I just want to encourage you online. You're running companies, you're running churches, you're running businesses. Some of you are just getting into your vision and your dream of your life. And one of the things we want to do here at G5 is we want to create an environment and a culture that you can be equipped and empowered and enlarged and encouraged to step into your calling, your passion, your purpose, and you find your burden. Be careful who speaks into your life. And I would just make sure that my friends, I would set a bar to let them know, you know what? I'm not going to try to do the minimums and ask for the maximum. I will tell you this, if you give the maximum, you will never be without an opportunity. An opportunity. I coach a lot of leaders. I coach people all over the globe. And I can tell you, a lot of times what I'm trying to get people to do is move out of the minimums and understand and discover and uncover your capacity. My wife is so amazing. I asked her today, I said, will you speak at Leadership? And she goes, I said, I know you've already spoke twice and don't worry about it. And see, can I just tell you something? You need to know this. You all know her in this space when she speaks here. What you don't know is that this woman has spoke all over the world in front of massive crowds. She trains people. And I'm always amazed because people walk up to me and go, oh, your wife is capable. Like they're telling me something I don't know. I'm like, I live with her. I know how capable she is and I know how dangerous she is. Can I get a hey? Yeah, she's dangerous. She's sassy, but she's classy. Come on, I'm telling you right now. In your life, just a little bit more. We all want to be successful. I promise you, no parent has ever birthed a child and went, boy, I hope this one's a failure. I hope this one causes pain all of the days of their lives. I don't think people are born without a desire to win. And if you don't think that's true, just watch a baby when they decide they're going to walk. Nothing can stop them. And they'll leave the couch and go for the coffee table. They'll crack their head. They'll have bumps all over themselves. And they just keep going. Why? We want to win. And I want you to decide what winning and what success is for your life. And here's what I don't want you to do. And here's why we do G5 Leadership. It's why I want you online to do what a lot of people are doing right now. They're inviting 10 to 20 people over and they're sitting together in their living room, doing this together. There's nothing more exciting than growing together with other people. And yet most of us don't even know that we can grow. Maybe Bob and Nancy know something we don't know. Maybe they have found out that when you pass 70, when you pass, you can keep growing. That's why I love having goals in life, but I think goals have a dead end on them. I think growth is unending. And if you keep growing, you're going to set bigger goals and you're going to have bigger dreams. And so I just want to encourage you. There's nothing that brings winning on in your life like winning. Success breeds success. So in your life, you have to learn how to win. And I pray to God, you never learn how to fail and get comfortable with it. I do want to ask you a question. I love you. This is where I charge you $10,000. So just write your checks out to G5. It'll be good. Where is it right now that you're tolerating the seeds of failure in your life? Success doesn't happen overnight, and failure doesn't either. You got to keep stretching and growing. You look at a horse race, it's won by seconds. You watch most golf tournaments, every now and then somebody runs away with it. But most of the time, they play 3 days, and somebody wins by a shot. In your life, I believe this. This is a great statement. I would encourage you to write it down. I believe a man or a woman travel within before they travel without. I believe a man or a woman travel within before they travel without. You need to write this down, please. Knowing gets you nothing. The world is full of knowledge, but the lack of productivity. Where are you growing? Who is in your life right now that is challenging you in 4 or 5 areas of your life right now to get better? Great leaders challenge themselves. I had at least 5 conversations with leaders this week and told them where I'm challenging myself right now, because I'm telling you right now, the greatest single miracle in all the world is I can be tomorrow what I'm not today. And I refuse to stall. You are 3 people away from a completely different life. But you have got to do what every successful person understands. In order for me to win and be successful, get in my calling, my purpose, I have to think different thoughts. I can't let my raisings, I can't let my culture, I can't let my friends, I can't let my mindset, I can't let anything hold me back. So in your life, success begins with successful thoughts. Right thinking, not flawed thinking, changes everything. So how do you get a prosperous mindset? I'm not talking about a name it or claim it. I'm not talking about I'm going to pray and God's going to do it all. No, God will give you the wood. He builds trees. But he's going to ask you to get a saw and cut it down and build the furniture. He'll give it to you in raw material. Why is that? And most of you are you're on this journey right now. God is trying to do something in you that is very uncomfortable to get you to the place where you have self-worth. Self-worth. It's important that you believe in yourself. But it's more important that you have self-worth. It is inside of you. It's instilled inside of you. It's placed inside of you that you want to be productive. And at G5, if you will stick with me over this year in leadership, men in locker rooms, lady and girl talk, if you will stick with us, right now, this place is exploding. It's exploding. We don't have enough room to put everybody. And if they all show up at one time, it happens almost every week. We have as many people sitting outside as we do on the inside. Why? Because people are finding practical teaching that affects their lives and it releases the blessing of God in their lives. Okay. So I need to tell you this. You got to see the right pictures. You've got to expect the best. And you've got to understand that the future belongs to the prepared. The proverb is this: when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Who do you have that has no judgment? See, leaders get mad at me because I don't tell them what to do. They get so mad at me. Because the truth of it is, I found this out the hard way. They want me to tell them what to do so they can blame me. Well, you told me to do it. Well, that's an easy statement to make. I didn't tell you to do it that way. I didn't tell you to do it at that time. So you're leaving a lot out, because leaders do the right thing at the right time for the right reason in the right way without anybody telling them they have to do it. So just check your thinking. Just check your thinking. Don't be afraid to check your thinking. Muhammad Ali, a great boxer, look him up on YouTube. He said the time that he got beat the worst was the time that he didn't prepare and have the mindset to win. Be careful that you don't get sloppy and that you're used to living. I pray everyone around you right now is feeling a little bit uncomfortable in your presence, not because of your words, but because of your commitments. Your commitment. Your commitment. Are you okay, or am I? Michael Jordan said, When you get ready to take a shot, are you worrying about missing it? He said, I would never think that way. I always see it going in. Do you understand that most of your and my life has to do with your ability to have a vision for your life? And you've got to start it. You've got to have a vision for your marriage. You've got to have a vision for your relationship. I would tell those of you that are dating right now, whatever you do, get a vision for your relationship. When Gay and I were dating, we talked about having children, that we wanted children. And here's what we talked about. Here's what we talked about, Heath. I can remember in Hilton Head, South Carolina, with her family and my family, I remember sitting at a pool and saying, well, I just need you to know this about me. I get emotional. I have a desire to raise our kids that when they grow up and become adults, they still want to come home. And so that goal was set early in our lives. So every decision I made, every breath I took, I was thinking about, I want to build a relationship with my children. And so at about 8 years old, watch what I did. First of all, we didn't have any rules in our house. We had 4 values that guided our home. But I was continually working on that relationship. And at about 8 or 9 years old, I stopped telling them what to do. And I started saying, you've got to decide. You've got to figure out what right and wrong is and what you can tolerate. It's called critical thinking. Here's the problem we're having right now. Our schools are teaching our children what to think, not how to think. And so you get to the place where you can't think clearly. And if you're thinking 10 years ago ideas, you're going to be in trouble. May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, we're going to have a conference here, G5. I want you to go ahead and plan on being here. I want you to bring a team with you. It's going to be crazy. I've got to tell you, though, I'm going to do one talk because here's the reality. I don't like telling you this, but you need to know this because it's a reality. That whatever you're leading right now is probably going to go away. It will dissipate. Statistics that will show you that by the 3rd generation, it leaves. And there's something that in the 1st generation that learns what the 2nd and 3rd generation never learns. It even happens in church. People come in, they had great value, but they have no idea of the mindset that it takes to get something out of the ground and running. That's why unless people are fighting, boy, this is big. Somebody needs to write this down. If somebody's not fighting with you to get the victory and they're not all in, they're never going to be able to celebrate the victory when you win it. And you'll feel bad. So in your life, just decide. So what are some things you find out that people that are succeeding that you don't find in people's lives that are not succeeding? Number one, you're going to find, my wife already talked about it, a better attitude. A better attitude. What a difference an attitude makes. If you had a doctor that was going to operate on somebody you loved tomorrow, would you want him to walk in and go, well, I'm going to do the surgery, but I'm not feeling real good about it? Would you want to get on a plane tomorrow and the pilot come on and go, well, I'm about half committed. No. In your life, your attitude about learning and humility and honor. Here's what we say in locker room. You've got to discover and uncover in your life to know that in your life, if you're going to win big in life, you have to be dependable, defendable. You have to be. And so in your life, you've got to uncover these things because most of them are attitudes in all of our lives. I used to think, and I'm moving to the second point, I used to think that people just either had great attitudes or they don't. Now, I got to tell you, You got to hear me right now. If you've got a great attitude, don't expect everybody to be happy because you have it. We all have that friend that they wake up in the morning and they're just like so excited. And you're like, I need 2 cups of coffee before I even look at you, Bo. I'm telling you right now. But I can just tell you, don't expect everyone to be happy because you've got a great attitude. And be careful of people that have bad attitudes or uncommitted attitudes, or they don't honor order and authority. They don't get it because they'll destroy your culture and your organization. It's more caught than it is taught. Second, people that succeed let their failure teach them something, and they learn from their mistakes. They're not embarrassed by them. They're learning. They're learning from setbacks. And I think Zig Ziglar said it. Sometimes I win, but every time I learn. Sometimes I win, but every time I learn. By the way, we don't have staff here yet. We got a bunch of crazy, outrageous servant leaders that just give their life away. I'm telling you, man, you met one of them, Josh, tonight, and he edifies like a king. I could go around the room. I go on and on and on and on, okay? They just give their all. But let me tell you, we are going to win. Do you know why? Because we're not afraid to fail. Matter of fact, we expect failure. And we celebrate failure. Guess what? I found out what don't work. Woo-hoo-hoo. It was a good idea. I was so fired up about it. That didn't work. So we not only study success, we study failure. Because if you don't know why you fail, you'll keep doing it. And if you don't understand why you succeed, you can't repeat it. So in your life, it's just critical. Tom Peters, I don't know if you've ever read from him, but he says this: fail fast and adjust fast. Unsuccessful people don't like this because they take it personal. They take it personal. So you got to test fast. You got to be willing to look and say, what am I doing right and what am I doing wrong? I told my 2 young adult children about 2 years ago, I said, I'm pushing a lot more decisions into your hands here, and I expect you to fail, because I did. I failed in relationships. I failed in financial things. I failed, but I learned and I got stronger. Don't you ever let failure intimidate you. Learn from it. It's not a person. It's an experience that you're going through, and you're going to get better because of it. So, I just want to encourage you to learn how to ask great questions in testing fast. Let me tell you how that plays out here. I had a gentleman in a wheelchair, and everybody was emptying out of the building, and it's pretty crazy here on Sundays, right? Because they're trying to get in and trying to get out. And I just walked up to him out of all the busyness. I'm just telling you, you got to test. And I just walked up to him and I said, sir, can I ask you a question? He goes, sure. I said, is there anything we could have done better today to meet your needs? Wow. It's called an exit interview. He said, no, you guys have been so loving. You've been so loving. I'm reminded of a little boy that went into the drugstore and he said to the pharmacist, can I borrow your phone? He said, well, sure. And the little boy gets on the phone and he says, Miss Ann, my name is Billy, and I just wanted to tell you, I will cut your grass for $10 less than you're paying right now. She goes, no, Billy, I'm great. I love the boy that does it. He's incredible. He's got integrity. He goes, okay, well, I just wanted to check. He hung up, and the farmer said, I admire your spunk. He said, do you want to come and cut my grass? What are you doing there? He said, oh no, that's the lady, I cut her grass. I was just checking on myself. Are you willing to check on yourself? Are you willing to walk in and say, how am I doing? How was my body language? Was I focused? I'm grateful, my little wife, because I can sometimes just zone out. Any other men can just zone out like I can zone out. My gift is zoning out, brother. You understand that? I'm anointed to zone out. And every now and then she's just got to tell me, hey, baby, hey, come back. And sometimes it's not that kind. Sometimes it's a little more like, hey. But can I tell you, I'm grateful for that. Because can I tell you, the last thing I would ever want this gorgeous little girl to ever feel is unnoticed or not seen or not valuable. I just want to encourage you, check up on yourself. Let's get a bunch of men at locker room that are checking up on ourselves. We just decide to live and work at a whole nother level. So test fast, fail fast, get beyond it. Get beyond it. Adjust fast. Make the changes. Can I ask you, where do you need to test it right now? Where do you need to go, okay, I messed up. I'm getting over that. And where do you need to move on from where you are? My third and my last one. This is one of my favorites. Can I give you one of my favorites? Oh, come on. You can do better than that. Don't make me do this alone. Come on. When you walk through a storm. No, I'm not doing that alone. I can tell you. Actually, I may need you up here in a minute. I'm just telling you. Are you ready? Are you ready? Successful people complete others and they compete with themselves. Successful people complete others and they compete with themselves. The greatest blessing in life is not getting ahead of others, but it's getting ahead of yourself. I want you in 30 days from now to look back on yourself and go, I'm better. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at shaking hands. I'm getting better at smiling. I'm getting better. You got to stay on it. Because let me tell you, we have a sign down there. It says, passionate about life with the spirit of excellence. The passion is the easy part. How many of you have ever noticed that excellent just drains? I start showing up a little later. I start not giving as much. I start moving away from what I need to do. And by the way, leaders do the right thing at the right time for the right reason in the right way with anybody else telling them they have to do it. I don't want you to feel like I'm beating up or being mean or being ornery. But let me just tell you a really bad day in your life. It's when someone else has to set the standards for your life. Don't come in here trying to compare us to somebody else. Because our standards are not to compare. Our standards are to set above and beyond. Because what we're going to do is we're going to grow, but you've got to make room for growth. And growth does not happen where the spirit of excellence is not there. You just got to do it. So I can tell you, I know people who are miserable. They live miserable lives because they're constantly trying to keep up with or beat another person. Let me tell you, I love champions. I love winners. I do. And the thing that you can know in your life, you're winning and you're a champion. Maybe you didn't win. Maybe you learned. But let me tell you what you can say. I gave it my all. I gave it my all. Yeah, I did. I got up Sunday morning and I started throwing up, and I don't throw up quietly. And she is outside the door. Oh, no. I'm like, yeah. I said, well, baby, I'm going to go ahead and get dressed because I really believe God's going to heal me. But I need to go. I need to be there. So I drove around. By 10 o'clock, I was eating crackers. I was back in the fight. You know what I'm talking about? But do you know what most people would wake up and say? Seriously, I don't feel good. I'm going to stay home. The only reason I stayed home was not because I didn't feel good. It was because, honestly, I know that Bob and Nancy and Charles and Marcia sat right there, and I did not want to get them sick. I never thought for 1 second I'm not coming. That's the difference between an entrepreneur and an hourly employee. I don't feel good. My daddy used to tell me, I'm closing, he would say, son, my job as your father is to help you get delivered from your dysfunctional emotions. And I told him, I said, well, Dad, I don't feel like it. He goes, what's that got to do with anything? Now you got to understand, he never had a father, was raised on the streets. So he didn't have the comforts of life, and I think one of the greatest worry of his life, we didn't hardly have anything, but he thought we were rich. And he thought he was raising a really weak son. Isn't it amazing mental toughness? How mentally tough are you? What does it take to hold you back? And what does it take to get you to start comparing yourself to other people? Be aware. Have somebody in your life. I'm gonna say this to you, okay? Be really, really careful. I've had so many guys give me Rolex watches. It's crazy. But I helped a lot of guys make so much money, they bought Rolex watches. And I helped them get into Italian suits, which I love. And I'd watch them walk in a room, and all of a sudden, I couldn't see the love and the compassion and the caring. All I could see was the watch and the suit. And I would just pull them off the side, and I'd go, I just want to tell you, it's okay to have all that, but you better make it go away. And if all people can see is your suit and your watch and your ring, you're empty. It doesn't matter. What is it like? I travel every now and then, not very much. I made a decision years ago I wouldn't travel without her. But I can tell you, she could put some of her clothes in my suitcase, and I could fly off to a city. But how many of you know her clothes being with me is way different than her being with me? Sometimes we focus so much on the outward that we don't understand the inward is where we live. So I just want to give two things in closing. Number one, my success should not be based on somebody else's failure. If you have to fail in order for me to win, I don't call that success. Number two, I should not compare myself with others. The scripture says this is not wise. If you want to get really unhappy very quickly in your life, just start comparing your journey, your fight, your battle with someone else's. It's not fair. My life. Hey, if you do your best and if you give your best, you're going to win. So, grandfather takes his 5-year-old grandson down to the river. And his grandson looks at him and he says, Granddaddy, what is success? And the grandfather looks at him and says, nothing. He walks him into the river. He goes ankle deep, then knee deep, then waist deep. Then he gets him to his neck, and then he gets him over his head. And he grabs him and he shoves him under the water. And he can feel him. And all of a sudden he brings him up and he's gasping for air. And with fear in his eyes, he's looking at his grandfather going, what are you doing? And his grandfather shoves him down under the water again. And then he pulls him out and he carries him up. And he says, when you want success as bad as you wanted that breath, you'll have it. You gotta want it. You got to be hungry. And I just want to close with a challenge and an inspiration. Don't you ever get comfortable with failure. You get comfortable with winning. You get comfortable with being a conqueror. You get comfortable with being more than a conqueror. You get comfortable with overcoming every obstacle in your life because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Success is yours. What a privilege being with you tonight. I love you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for tuning in. Charge. All right. Love you. You're awesome. You're amazing. I can't believe how.
Wide awake while the world is sound asleep, and too afraid of what might show up while you're dreaming. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe you. Every day you try to pick up all the pieces, all the memories that somehow never leave you. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe you. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a